rubber on my head at 4 o'clock in the morning, schlepping around, you know, looking like Roy Cohn. And I walk in, and they have his 60 Minutes interview on with Mike Wallace on one of the TVs. And I walk in, and I go, oh, I didn't want to see Roy Cohn. And I look, and I go, God, that's kind of the way I'm doing him, as if Roy were, you know, acting himself.
Yeah.
And I said, God, that's, and it taught me a great lesson then, which is that it's like idiot savant thing. It's not like I'm so talented or great or anything else. And Tony and I were talking about this today. We just have a gift, thank God. I can't sing. Pavarotti can move the world. You know, I'm not comparing myself relative to Pavarotti, but we have a gift, and it's just an instinct. That's all it is.
But you know, there's something about you. You need a character who's on the edge, like Cohn was on the edge. And this lawyer that you play is on the edge.
You know, I don't play guys who show barbecue pictures.
No, that's I understand that. I understand. You can't let go of that, can you?
I'm just teasing Father Tom. Father Tom, forgive me, darling. Please forgive an old
Father Tom may give you a large penance, you know, a lot of Hail Marys to say when you walk out of the confessional here tonight.
Father Tom's going to make me sweep up after. Thank you, Father.
But you played, you did a picture, it was where they had to smuggle the black guy out of prison. Walking tall?
Fast walking.
Fast walking, okay.
Fast walking.
And you were a guy on the edge in that picture.
God, that's right. You remember that picture?
Yes, I do, because that's where I found you, okay? I found you there. And I said, this guy's on the edge. This guy's snotty. He's sarcastic. He's very, very smart. He's got a little anger in him. And Haldeman's that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
He's, you know, a little arrogance, a little anger, you know?
Yeah. He was also, however, a very moral and decent man, believe it or not, even though he went to jail for obstruction of justice. But he, but, you know, other than...
hey, details.
Other than that, you know, how did you like to play, Mrs. Lincoln? You know?
Yeah, I mean, they never put you in the slammer for barbecue pictures. I mean, it's fine, you know, it's great.
Well, unless, of course, they're fraudulent barbecue pictures.
Yeah,
you know,
this is true.
Wouldn't it be great if those pictures had, like, some secret code, you know, what the Russians did, and, you know, that's what the plutonium's hidden in the barbecue, Tom. Oh, don't tell them, Father, because, you know, if they find that out, we're all dead.
Oh,
anyway.
You mean Schultz, the Russian spy? He's on the next floor. Yeah, the old joke. Yeah.
Right. What were you thinking of when you got up today and you dressed like a killer?
Don't take me there.
By the way, here's a tip. Okay, can you get in close on this? There's a black face on the watch that matches the whole kind of like, here, can you see this? Here, get that baby on there, right there, look at it. Okay? Can you see him like this morning go, the black socks, and I'll put on the black watch, huh? Maybe I'll get a date this week. Yeah? A couple of chicks like that. Oh, and the gold cufflinks, which goes with the silver watch, by the way. Nice move. And then I got to tell you something, though. You guys know this, okay? He comes on, he's all laughing and everything. During the breaks, he goes, thanks. You know, he kind of hurt my feelings. He gets like all like Clinton-esque on you, you know what I mean? You're like more touchy-feely than the big guy.
You know, there's cruelty in you, too.
No. This is the Haldeman thing. I was on the set playing Haldeman today. It's a spillover. I have no cruelty. I swear to God. I don't. I'm the kindest person on earth. Nice cufflinks. Sorry.
You can feel it beginning to turn, can't you? Huh? Yeah, I can feel it.
It's a tidal wave.
Yeah, a tsunami, as you would say. Yeah,
a tsunami.
Well, whatever the hell it is out there, they're saying, this guy doesn't quit, does he? Yeah. Anyway,
He's laughing.
Let's get out of here quick before they find out what we're doing. Back with James Woods, 800-952-2788. Is that right?
Yes,
sir. Oh, good. Call up and let him hammer you. We'll be right back after these messages.
My life.
In preparation for Nixon, I'm told that you spent some time, you and Oliver Stone and Anthony Hopkins, in the presence of Robert McNamara.
Yes, we did.
And here is the architect, or one of the architects of the war in Vietnam, and one of its major iconoclasts, born on the 4th of July. Right. What happened in that meeting?
You know, it's that whole trip to Washington was strange because we went everywhere from the Situation Room to the White House, where even Clinton's secretary has never been, to meeting with Ron Ziegler and Daniel Shore and Elliot Richardson, who, of course, survived the Saturday Night Massacre, when the second gravest constitutional crisis in the history of the American Republic. Meeting with McNamara was a very unsettling experience because I, of course, as a young man, really felt the Vietnam War was a great tragedy, and this country still do. And here was a man who, as you say, was the architect of it, and I felt that in the twilight of his life, he was atoning, that it was a personal issue beyond wanting to sell a book.
No, he was here last week, and I had the same feeling with this man. I mean, you look at this man now, and he's aging.
And he's saying, my God, I have to live with these demons. I think the demons are coming home to knock. And Oliver was very sensitive to it because, you know, Oliver was, you know, actually volunteered, believe it or not.
And served in Vietnam.
And served in Vietnam.
I think a number of swings there, if I recall correctly.
Yes, twice, I think. And it was strange because Oliver was very respectful and deferential to McNamara. I actually, when I was at MIT majoring in political science, two of my advisors, one was the Undersecretary of Defense for McNamara, William Walter Kaufman. So it was just a strange brew to sit. You realize it's like 50 years later when the guys who attacked Pearl Harbor shake hands with the men who defended Pearl Harbor. And you just think that time cures so many things. And speaking of which, I don't know if it'll ever be possible, but I'm hoping time cures some of the wounds of these people in the McMartin case. You know, the parents who suffered so much, certainly the McMartins and the Buckys who suffered so much. And, you know, I don't ever expect any hands to be shaken, but hopefully the wounds will be healed and these people all will be able to get on with their lives.
I just sat looking at McNamara and I thought to myself, here is this man now, as you say, in the twilight of his years, and a man of some good humor. I enjoyed meeting Robert McNamara.
Yes, oh yeah, very bright and caring man.
Yes, by the way, well said. He really cares. Yeah. And I think people who criticize him for waiting so long miss the point here. I think that a lot of time has to pass and a lot has to be considered before you can come forward and say, you know, we made some terrible mistakes back then, but here's why, and let's hope that because of what I've learned in my own journey through these last 30 years, we don't make these mistakes again.
You know, it happens with anything. You know, obviously, without going into the details of the script of Nixon, there, you know, it's impossible to avoid Watergate as part of the issue. Of course it is.
Of course it is.
And I've heard some of the real tapes. Even, well, you know, when you read the transcripts of the tapes and so on, and here are the few that have been released, it's amazing because you hear these people these men dealing with issues that other people did as a matter of course. You know, who do you think put the taping system in the White House? Nixon did do it.
No, a fellow we know.
Yeah.
Alex Butterfield.
No,
John Kennedy, right. Alex Butterfield was the man who...
Alex is on our set every day. He's one of our advisors. John Dean's on the set a lot and so on. But it's amazing because you watch these people and you realize, you know, you have to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes before you're so easy to criticize them. You know, they were in the most powerful room in the world every day of their lives, in the Oval Office, trying to make decisions, dealing with the Vietnam War, with the bombing of Cambodia, with leaks to the government, with the enemies from within and without. However,
tremendous unrest in American cities and American
unrest
streets.
And trying to do the right thing. You know, I mean, when those children were killed at Kent State, you know, I mean, I've heard and talked to the people who are there, and you know, you thought of this government as unfeeling. You know, and the people in it, you know, as horrible. And, you know, there aren't a lot of Nixon lovers, you know, et cetera, necessarily in the United States now when they look back. But, boy, I think that there were more sensitivity and feelings perhaps than we like to think. People are human, you know.
Of course they are, and people
in government and everywhere else.
And, you know, and I remember interviewing the man that you portray in this picture, H.R. Haldeman, on the old NBC late night show, and you come to realize, like you say, walk a mile in this man's shoes.
Right.
And when Richard Nixon says to H.R. Haldeman, Bob, I need you to get this done. If you work for the President of the United States, you get it done or you quit. Right. One of the two.
I mean, I've always said, and I hope to meet his widow, Jo Haldeman, at some point if she ever wishes to. And, you know, one of the things I said to Oliver, I said, I want to play this part because I want to play a man who I believe in his heart was a very decent man and who was loyal to a fault. In fact, I think his problem was that he...
by the way, loyal to a fault.
Yeah, and his fault ended up becoming obstruction of justice and so on, and he was very tortured by it. You know, he wrote a long letter to James Neal from Lompoc prison and, you know, and never actually delivered it, but, you know, was very tortured about his intention was not to break the law, but in fact he did, and sometimes we're swept up by events, you know, that come to bite us later on.
In any way, the issue at hand here is the motion picture, which premieres this Saturday, and it'll play, I'm sure, through the month of May and June on HBO. So please check the listings for the time and station. It's about the McMartin molestation case, and because it's not on the prompter, I've lost the exact title.
It's actually called Indictment, the McMartin Trial.
Okay. I thank you for your candor about your job tonight, for your charming sense of humor, which I enjoy greatly, and I hope sometime, because now you know what happens here, you would come and we could just talk about stuff in America that's going on.
Oh, I would love to.
And the loss of our national sense of humor.
Right. And by the way, you know, when I was teasing you, we were talking in the break, I so appreciate that you, and I'm sure I know your audience understands that it's a sign of great affection. You know, you were one of the first benefactors I had. In fact, one of the very first talk shows I ever did was your show.
I remember.
Way back then, and you're always a benefactor, and, you know, we know each other socially, as your audience may not know, and so I can tease you a lot, but it's the kind of thing that, as you pointed out and so eloquently during the break, it's what's missing from America now. I mean, there's a mean-spiritedness where you can't tease anybody. If you tell a joke, everybody's nose is bent out of shape, and it's a sad thing, and it's fun to be able to do it, and I admire you for being such a good sport and letting me tease you.
Thank you, James. You're welcome here anytime, my friend.
Thanks.
Okay, good night. James Woods, on the air Saturday on HBO, and the Nixon movie comes out?
Either December or Nixon in '96.